Hi, I'm Amber, and today we're going to be making pastry swans. Start with water. We're going to use the entire stick of butter. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Next, we're going to add in half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to bring this to a rolling boil. I stir it a little bit, but it's not necessary. It's more just to help the butter break down. So now that your butter is at a rolling boil, you go ahead and just give it a couple stirs just to make sure everything's incorporated. Then you take your flour, turn your heat off, and drop your 1 cup of flour all in at once. Cool. Once it's formed into a ball, move it right into your stand mixer. Now that you have it in your stand mixer, you want to lift it up and then turn it on really low. And why I do this is to let the dough just cool down a little bit before we add the eggs. That way we don't have scrambled eggs. Now that it's cooled down just a little bit, I'm going to add in 5 eggs one by one. You can tell that it's done because it's nice and glossy, and we're going to transfer it into a pastry bag. So now I'm going to start piping the swans. I start with the bodies first on a larger pan. You can use 2 of the same if you only have 2 of the same. And then I start making the body, which couldn't be easier. You just make a circle shape with your pastry bag and just keep building it out till it's about that size. And if you mess up and you do an odd shape, just fill it in with your pastry bag. It's super easy. Now I'm going to start piping the heads. And you just want to make an S shape. So I start with a little circle here, and then I make an S, and then end it with another little circle. The best part about making it with 2 circles on either end is that when you have the swan finally baked, depending on how it spreads out in the oven, you can pick whichever side looks best when you want to finally put it all together. And that's it. I'm going to continue piping my swans, and then I'm going to place them in my oven preheated to 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out and poke holes on the largest part, which is the bodies. Then I'm going to put them back into the oven, turn the oven off, and let them sit for 20 minutes. Now that my pastry swans have cooled, I'm going to start assembling them. You take your body and you want to cut about halfway through the swan body, horizontally, not vertically. So now you have your 2 pieces. The top portion of it, which looks like this, and the bottom portion that's not so pretty. This is going to be the bottom of the body of the swan, and this is going to be the top. Now I cut this part of the swan horizontally. It's okay if it gets a little crumbly. Now I take the head of a swan, and I try to pick one that's about the same size as the body. They just happen to sit upright better. And I take my whipped cream. I just use the store-bought version, and you're going to put whipped cream on the bottom part of the body of your swan. Just like that. Then you're going to take the head of the swan and push it into the body, and then take the 2 tops that you used and use them as wings to complete your swan. Then you're going to put it on your plate. There you go. Again, here's the body. I'm going to cut it horizontally. I try to pick a head that's about the same size. Go with this one, why not? Cut the body horizontally. use my whipped cream. And there's your swan body. Now that I've finished making my swans, I put them onto a mirror, and the reason why I do this is because it gives them the appearance of swimming, and it's also just a really beautiful way to finish your evening with a beautiful dessert. So once you're finished with your swans, I like to put a little bit of powdered sugar over the top. It makes it look like it's snowing onto the swans. It's very pretty. And be sure to serve these right away. As you know, whipped cream melts, so it's literally assemble and then bring them out to your guests. Enjoy!